Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. What an absolute stonking first game weapon. If I don't use that word very often.
It
Stonking's
was
not in
a bit
my
of a stomp.
vocabulary. It was a bit of a stomp, but absolutely phenomenal to watch to see
Sure.
that even though Jade Dragons, I feel like, didn't have the right synergy for what they were going for and didn't get online as how we wanted to see, I think they deserve a bit of commendation for how they played. I think considering the two of them are still very new to the roster, they came and brought something to the table. So really, really excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot to be proud of in that first game. Some decently executed fights. But I think I want to see a bit more of a standard game. I
Yeah.
want to see Morgan on some comfort,
Yep.
maybe that Draven or the Jinx, and I want to see them just play a bit of a front to back and put Part the Horizon on something simple to execute. Maybe grab the
Mm.
Ornn for yourself, or look for maybe even something like the Cassante's a bit harder, but maybe something like the Nara as well, where you just
Three.
jump in there and just do nothings.
Yeah, actually, I apologize. There's actually three to the new roster, not four. So
Oh, three,
basically a whole
Rek'Rai.
new team.
Yes, of
Yeah, that's
course.
right.
Yeah, whole
That
so
is,
Part the Horizon Tempest and Rek'Rai.
yeah,
We always pick the support. I'm sorry, it's just a thing
yeah,
we do. Support.
yeah.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's basically it's just Worgen guys. Basically, it's fair. Yeah, Tampa's fairly new as well. But no, we can't ignore. We got the votes back about who the MVP was for that last game, and you know what? You were all correct because we were correct too. Korean Weeb absolutely smashed that
He
game.
did it. Um, yeah, I definitely agree. Korean Wave looked pretty damn good in that game. Was a big part of the engages. Absolutely, just mauled Part the Horizon in the side lane, and just looked overall pretty impressive. So we'll see what he gets. We know the guy likes his carries as well. So
Mm.
the tank is not something we've seen from him. I think before, at least on the stream.
It's
But
nice to actually see. But we
yeah,
do get into bans and picks as well. That
mhm.
sounded wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, it
Picks and
does.
bans.
Ooh,
Bans
picks and
and
bans,
picks?
bans and picks.
Pick,
Ooh, I don't like that. Don't do that again.
chat, what do you prefer? Bans and picks
Oh,
or pick? No,
I
it's gonna
think
be
picks
picks
and
and bans.
bans.
Don't worry about it.
Literally picks and
Yeah.
bans every time, man.
Yeah, it has to be. Nah, I've confused myself now, but we're in the banning phase, and that's okay because we're getting through it. Kaiser, another staple ban, at least taken off the board, and Lissandra, bit of an interesting one. Okay, well, let's break those down as we're sort of moving through this one.
Yeah,
Weapon.
bans that we've seen in the last rotation. I think Kaiser just feels like one of the better 80 carries and must be a comfort pick for one of the sides.
Mm.
Or must be a comfort pick for the Starcaster side. So get rid of it. Silas is an interesting preemptive ban. I think he feels like something that gets left up more often than not. And Fiddlesticks is weird. I don't know why we're banning that, but this is the world we live in. Maybe the jungler on Starcasters really, really enjoys that pick.
He's been playing quite a bit of
Hey,
Fiddlesticks. I think it's his
there we
second
go.
most played. He's currently got a 64% win rate on Fiddlesticks. So obviously,
Annie.
I guess
It's
they're,
Annie, by the way.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Draven.
Annie.
Annie Draven.
Raven, we did it.
No, we do it. We
Huzzah!
do we do this live. Annie Draven, throw it down. I want to see
Yeah,
it. I think from here you want to go for something that can either withstand the lane or lock down the Draven so he dies, and that has to be a Nautilus, has to be a Leona.
just
All
thinking.
of these are good options. You one to your bot lane here,
Yep.
and you've got a lot of options here. Ezreal Karma could work, I guess, if you want to just keep
Yeah.
them at bay. But I want to see something aggressive, man.
I do, yeah. I don't want to see just a bit of a poke heavy because Dravens want to go hard in too. So we could even see an Annie being picked up with the Ezreal potentially,
Annie Ezreal,
and
yeah.
yeah, and then Draven actually going with something a bit more aggressive, like the Nautilus or the Leona, getting a lot of that CC, letting Draven just freak here for a while. But we do see the Karma being picked up.
Ezreal Karma.
Fair
You go
enough.
Annie here every time. I think you have to, or you go something that engages like Nautilus, Leona.
Yeah,
I think Rek'Rai looked okay on that. Didn't
yeah.
certainly wasn't the reason they lost, and had some decent players, landed a lot of the skill shots. So
Mm.
I think if you're Rek'Rai, you'd be happy to go back to that well. But Annie just feels so good here if you're just going to dump crowd control in people's heads. But there's a Renata, which kind of does the same thing.
Oh, but
It's
there's the
not
Annie.
okay. There it is.
Could be an Annie mid,
Oh,
which I
okay.
like.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Annie mid, Renata support. I'm a big fan of that. I think the Renata is going to be really nice. Even with an Ezreal, if he's starting to build up and get a little bit late game, his auto attacks are going to do a lot of damage. So
Okay.
I think it's going to avoid those champions that are going to be a bit more ability based, which we could see a Sejuani as well here too. A little bit of engage coming over for the jungler side, but they could look to pick up another mid laner, something to sort of counteract the Annie. Maybe like a Syndra even could be quite good here, just to sort of do a bit of a 1-2 sort of combo. If there's a Hecarim
Ooh,
actually.
interesting. Okay, Hecarim's something that never really goes away at these sort of lower ranked, just because he's so good at being proactive in the early game and
Mm.
scales to a decent health pool, so he can kind of serve as the front line as well. but more importantly, diving the backline. And this is where the Renata is actually going to be a little bit interesting here because Renata,
Mm,
classically a champion who, as I say, every single time she's drafted, is good with and against dive. So
yeah.
maybe looking a bit more of a dive core here on the Jade Dragon side. We'll have to see if they maybe look back towards something like that J4, which is still really good and just generally works in the jungle. But jungle bans are going to be coming through. That's a
Yeah, I do
Mordekaiser, which
actually.
can juggle.
Yeah, I like the Orn ban again, taking that away from Korean Weeb. We have
Yeah,
seen how
nice
powerful
move.
he is, probably putting him back into more of a bruiser sort of top lane, which is not too bad of a job. But yeah, Mordekaiser, Zac being picked up, so taking away a really good diving sort of comp there too, and Shen as well, sort of saying to Korean Weeb, hey, we don't want you to have impact in these team fights ever again. So really nice to see that good prioritizing that their star play. But there's a
Okay.
cast sleeper champion. I've been playing the hell out of Cass, and she is so much fun. You can go Rod, you can go Leandres, and it just works in so many team comps. Weapon.
Yeah, so good, especially with the Rod of Ages now buffed up at the start of the season. She gets so much benefit out of that passive on the Rod of Ages as well, getting that. Basically, it's a free phase rush, but
Mm.
it's looking like we're playing front to back here. A lot of you've got the dive from the Hecarim, but that's about all you've got. So
What?
Hecarim probably playing a bit more of a Warden here, and this is what I was hoping to see actually. Nocturne locked in. I want to see a Camille here actually. I think you just straight up slam down the Camille if you're
Yeah.
Path Horizon. Look for something which can get on top of the back line, occupy space, and give space for the Renata to work and the Annie to work. Just full dive onto this back line, lock down
Yeah.
Ezreal. Because Ezreal, Cassiopeia are not the most mobile carries outside. I mean, the Ezreal is. This is goofy. Don't do it. Okay.
I don't know
Oh
how I
no.
feel about that one. I'm not
Awkward.
the biggest fan of the Yorick here. I feel like going for a 4-4-1 sort of team comp is not the idea when you are looking for such a strong all-in from the rest of your team. Are you just going to let Yorick build a hull breaker and put him in the top side? But that's an Amumu.
I don't. No, no way. There's no way you're looking a Moo Nerfed on this patch. Not the best, but Camille, so good here. Throw down wall, you jump
Yeah,
off wall, you murder the Yorick.
I
Jax
prefer
works
Jax.
too.
I like Jax.
Sure. Yeah, a lot. You basically had your pick of any sort of carry matchup into that not
Mm,
into that Yorick, and Karuma is just going to go straight for the Jax. So again, this is a really just consistent, clean draft outside of maybe the Hecarim. It's a bit of a curveball,
mm,
and it feels like it's so clear on how it works. Whereas we look at the Jade Dragon side, and there's a lot of question marks. It's dive, then you've got this
yeah.
Yorick, and it's just it doesn't quite fit together. But you can see the angles, right?
Yes, you can sort of see they have an idea of how they want to play. Like every sort of lane bar top fits in nicely into the puzzle. I feel like Yorick's that extra puzzle piece that you got in the pack that was printed and put in for another box, right?
Yeah,
But again, you can't ignore that a 4-1 laning style is not irrelevant. It's not the strongest though.
no,
That's
yeah.
the problem. So Yorick wants to just be chilling alone. He's going to have his maiden. He's going to be doing that. But when it comes to a team fight, when it comes to the crunch time weapon, I just don't think Yorick's going to play the biggest part. Where Jax, if he gets a really good lockdown and starts spinning that lamp and just going absolutely bonkers, imagine a Hecarim on top of that. Imagine a Cass throwing out that petrifying gaze. Imagine Ezreal just throwing a barrage too. Like you have a lot of damage that's coming out and a lot of lockdown too. So I don't know. I feel like Starcasters are looking real strong in this lane in this matchup, just from the picks.
Yeah, definitely. I really favor their draft here, and it's a bit disjointed on the other side in terms of we were looking for a lot of dive to go alongside this
Mm,
Renata, or at least the ability to play anti dive with the Renata,
mm,
and they've kind of split the difference in, and they have an Annie which is sort of a diver, but then Nocturne who does very much dive. Draven can assist with that, and no one else really works alongside that. But when you look at what they're playing into, it's like you highlighted Cassiopeia, Petrifying Gaze. When you're running at her, it's so effective.
yeah.
You got the Jax who could just press E and avoid a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Ezreal would get out of the way, Karma for shielding. So a very clear indication of how the fights are going to unfold if they go in the favor of the Starcaster side. Whereas I think on the other side of on the Jade Dragon side, it just has to be dumping all of your kit on someone who's out
Yeah.
of position. Like we saw in the last game, they pulled it up a couple of times, and it just has to be repeated. It has to be a lot of
Yeah.
mistakes that they prey upon.
They want to play very aggressive, very early again. I feel like Nocturne's really not going to come online until level 6. The second he hits level 6, same with Annie actually, that's when they're going to start looking to make these bigger plays, especially having Tibbers being able to like hold these tower aggro and sort of do a lot more there. I feel like, yeah, it's just not as clean of a draft as I wanted to see out of this team. Granted, they're still very new, getting used to each other, but I think the real only lane that I'm really looking forward to is their bot side. The Draven Renata is just going to be, if it gets ahead, will have a huge impact. So I'm really keen to see how they can do that, because I feel like Ezreal Karma also doesn't fit too well into it. Like, Ezreal wants to be sitting back and poking, but he is going to just get dove on by Nocturne. So I feel like there's a lot coming into it. So I think Cassiopeia's got a big shot to play in this team comp. But guys, we are going to go to a short break. We'll be right back with game number 2 in this best of 3 series. We'll see you there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's me and Weapon again. We're here to just slice, dice, and give you everything that's nice. We're looking for some big plays coming out of this Annie for obvious reasons. Annie being just the strongest champion in the game right now with her impact. But guys, Weapon, where are we at? What are we looking at? Because this is looking beautiful. Oh, already a bit of damage.
Really nice. Reasons just walking up, trading.
Oh, his life wants to trade a bit more.
Yeah, nice one. He's going to force it back. I don't think it's going to amount to much, but definitely feels good.
That's just dominance. That's in your head games, you know? They're just like, we're coming for you.
Yeah, just straight up making your presence felt. Also, part of the reason starting E on the Yorick, it's going to be like a real pokey build with this Arcane Comet, which is very, very strange. But I think the place we really wanted to focus for the Jade Dragon side, who are coming off a loss in the last game, was a bit of an unfortunate one. They tried to YOLO a bit in draft, and this is a bit more of a standard one, except maybe the Yorick. But more importantly, they have the Worgen Draven. His favorite champion, one tricks this thing in solo queue from what we've been told, and also has one of the strongest supports to back up a Draven early on. So much aggression afforded by this Renata. So while the rest of the composition won't exactly have the best of times, a lot of focus I think has to be down towards the bot side and how Worgen and Rek'Rai can actually navigate this matchup, as Reasons is getting beaten up. That's rough.
Okay, as someone who plays a lot of Cassiopeia at the moment, burning mana early it's good and bad at the same time. It's sort of like a curse, because yes, you want to poke them down and have a bit of a dominance in lane, right? But at the same time, if you have no mana and then you need to back, you're going to burn your TP if they're playing it right. So it's not the greatest. You want to try and wait for level 2 for exactly here. As you can see, so aggressive with that Poison Cloud into the E. So it's nice to see that able to do that, but early on, she's already on half mana, man. That's rough to see early on.
Yeah, wave shoved in tower as well, so he's just going to take the cheetah and get straight back to base and probably pick up. I don't know what he'll get off the back of this. Probably not a lot, but will reset his mana. It is going to give Reasons a bit of a slow push or maybe a freeze, depending on how he clears that wave. But I think overall, the Cassiopeia is actually just fine with this one. There's another game where Easy Life and the rest of his team are actually quite happy to really take their time in this game, and a lot of emphasis is put on the Jade Dragon side to be able to be aggressive early. As Green Wave, we've seen this one before.
We've seen this one before, and we like it. We love
big fans
on very aggressive.
Would watch it again.
I'd watch it every day, man, if I could. This man needs to start streaming, because I'd be like, yep, show me the Jax, show me the Camille, show me some Fiora, give me something spicy. But I'm looking again. We got to not ignore Worgen on this Draven. Sorry, this man is already farming horrendously well. So aggressive, and I love it. But look at he's getting a stun down. You're taking a big wave. Ooh,
heavy trades in the mid lane. I think Easy Life really knows that he wants to. I would say he was playing to get the wave crash, and now he's got that, but he's just straight up clearing it again. So I think they're just looking for opportunities to trade on the wave, which is probably why he's thinning it here, which is not the way you're meant to play this matchup. But Easy Life thinks he can, and he by and large is getting away with it, because this aggressive, this Nocturne is not going to be aggressive early. The most he can do is run at you and press E and hope to chip some damage away at you.
Look again.
Oh, that's so rough.
I don't like Yorick. Come on, Yorick. You're better than this, man. But again, big shout out to Path to Horizon, trying something a bit new, something a bit different. You got to respect that. If it works, we'll look stupid. If it doesn't work, we look smart as all hell. So I guess we'll just have to see what time tells. Weapon.
He gets priority. Also, nice choice by Korean Weeb, who's actually gone not only has he gone the D shield, which is just pretty standard in a lot of cases to soak up some of the damage from the ghouls. He's taken biscuits, so just more sustain in this lane, knowing that he is going to take a little bit of chip damage from the Yorick, and his job really is just to get past the 15-minute mark without losing his tower. That's all you need to do against Yorick in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
You can see
I
he
just
walks
realized.
in, it just presses E, right? And
Yeah.
nothing comes back at him.
Yeah. I love that Path Horizon went with the panda skin. Very adorable.
Very cool. I haven't
Much
seen it before.
uwu. Much uwu. I'm just going to put like my fingers to my
Why not?
cheeks and do like the uwu.
I'm imagining you doing it. It looks great. You look great,
Look,
man.
I'm pretty cute. Not going to lie.
Yeah, you are. It's not even a question.
Incredibly vain too.
Yeah. It was an incredible
It comes
game.
with the job. Comes with the job. But no, okay. We just love ourselves. It's what happens. But okay, a lot of tears. We already got a Sheen as Jax is sort of backed. I kind of like this. Looking for a little bit more poke damage in these little trades. So kind of nice. What are you expecting to see first item for a couple of these champions?
I mean, with the Jax, it's always going to be the Divine Sunderer these days. It used to be the Triforce, but Triforce is just not really an item you build if you're playing League of Legends seriously, unless you're playing Gnar. So Divine Sunderer, it's good against squishies, it's good against tanks, you always build it. And this is Jax, who was slightly nerfed on this patch as well. So
yeah.
he's not exactly the early game powerhouse that he was before. He's only lost a little bit of power, mind you. But I think I can't quite recall if he was given any compensatory buffs to his late game, but Jax is one of those champions where his kit just gets him through early games, as we're seeing right now, even if his numbers aren't quite necessarily there, and he just gets to rule the side lane, and he's not bad in a team fight, so he just kind of does everything. But Tempest is caught here.
There's the flash forward trying to secure the lockdown, but no, the root does come down, and nice follow-up for Reichner. Rickrai?
We're going with Rickrai.
Yeah.
Flash for Flash. Flash being on the support, actually not too bad. Tempest, we talked about it, not a champion who can be proactive, so that Flash is actually really important for Nocturne to potentially get things happening in the early game, and as the level 6 comes over, he's not even going to have that summer available to him. So that's actually a really nice play there by Seeker.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can see a couple of Sheens being put up, but yeah, they're just rushing it. Early aggression weapon.
Yeah, straight up taking it. And again, this is a game where they do want to be aggressive. They do want to push the pace and get these dragons. And I don't actually know if they get away with this one.
Wait, they've backed off because he's got no flash as well. Tempest could be looking to get this one. First blood over to Cassiopeia, and they trade the dragon.
Yeah, the slightest hint of bot lane priority is all it took, and Hecarim's going wild.
Oh, look at all the damage coming out. They're trying to go forward. Worgen actually picking up Hecarim there, but no. Aradiel? There's the flash forward. Exhaust goes down. Can they do a little bit more? Exhaust onto Worgen. He's being chased down. The man's got no mana and ease life. Having an ease life again as he's going for a triple unofficial, and Reasons just has to back right off with Tibbers. That was a big play.
All it took was the slightest hint of bot lane priority, the slightest bit of Worgen being just past the center line in that bot lane, and the response came in from Aradiel and Seeker so much faster. They were able to influence the fight faster, and they just collapse on the dragon attempt. And as you said, no flash on Tempest means that he was just stuck in that pit, nowhere to go, didn't have level 6, no ability to reposition. They just ran him down with the Cassiopeia W and the Hecarim charge. And then Red did go down in the run of play, but what he bought for his team was so much bigger. And this is a composition that doesn't need to do this. Yeah. And you're in luxury territory right now if you are Starcasters. You get to scale to infinity, and you're being given it by the enemy team.
Yeah, 100%. You can see even Jax just showing that an absolutely massive lead, about 15 plus CS up, and Ease Life is 2-0, already like basically halfway to that Rod of Ages, getting that Aeons.
And that's such a huge deal, right? You've played this champion. You said it before. Yeah. Getting that Rod of Ages early feels so good. If you get it pre-10, you are literally winning the game by default. Yeah. If you can get it about the 10 to 15 minute mark, that puts the enemy team on such a timer. Cassiopeia is one of the better users of the item because, as I said, that the movement speed that it affords her, when you are looking at all these threats that like the only real threat is this Nocturne. Cut away from that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good. Yeah, you're sweet. And I think then you're looking to get probably Zonya's potentially second, maybe even third, or at least getting a Seeker's Arm Guard, which is really going to support you because you do have a Draven. You do have a Nocturne. You also got a Yorick, technically, if you have to go into the side lane. It's a lot you can build for that is already pre-built into what you need. So, a little bit of a turn.
Every single time Reason steps up, he just gets a Q, maybe a W, and then just turned on with the E. And you can see how hesitant reasons he's playing this because he knows that if the jungler is lurking in either side of the river,
Mm.
the response from Hecarim is going to be so much more brutal than anything that the Nocturne can do. But level 7 has been reached, so this is the point where Nocturne can start to be a bit more aggressive, and it has to be down towards that bot side. It has to be around Worgen, and you can see he's pathing down there now. Even has the Annie in tow.
Yeah, you can even see, actually, it's funny, Seekers hasn't hit level 6. Looking for that. So there is already a bigger prio going over to the blue side. Jade Dragons could look for a really strong all-in, but there's level up, so level 6 is all good. I want to talk about this top real quick, Weapon, if that's okay. What is going on here? Because there's the ult coming in. Can he just keep going? There's the it's a hop, skip, and a dash.
He pressed R, he ran in with the Counter-Strike, and then he bopped part the horizon until he died.
Oh, Tibbers. There's the Nocturne looking in for a big engage. This could be the kill as they do take it out. Oh, petrifying gaze, but here comes Hecarim wanting to go for a little bit more. Daddy Horsey is wanting a little bit more, but he's going for a little bit of damage. Can he do it? Does pick up the reasons, but no, he's got no reason to stay because he has taken reason off the board.
Okay, so it's not bot lane, it is towards the mid lane around this Annie, maybe trying to accelerate the matchup for the Annie, maybe unlock her from this lane so she can get down towards the bot lane or can get up to top to support the Yorick. But it is a successful play made by Tempest, traded back for sure by Red, who is in position. And as we said, the response from the Hecarim is going to be just as brutal if the Annie does go forward and does pay for it. But I think overall, you're seeing a play being made by the Annie and by the Nocturne, and that's really what you want to see at this stage of the game. Yeah, you have to make those swings. Oh,
absolutely. That is literally crucial to Nocturne's kit. If he is not ganking once he's level 6 or 7, he's not playing Nocturne right. That's his whole purpose. But we do see Rod of Ages being picked up on this Cassiopeia, so I feel like we've put a lot of emphasis on this bot lane. But like I said, Cassiopeia is so strong at the moment, you can't ignore this champion.
Yeah, and Easy Life was kind of unleashed in that last game. A little bit quietly compared to, we had the Ornn popping off. We had the bot lane doing really well with Aurelial just getting to the point where he could just Giga Chad into the enemy team. But Easy Life did have himself a very good game and might be looking for a bit of a cheeky gank here.
Looking for it.
Cleanse.
Look at all the damage coming out.
Oh my word.
What is it?
He just does this.
Champion. You keep going. That's all you have to do, Weapon.
That is grim. Rod of Ages completed only 2 stacks, by the way, and he just gets to run at the Annie, who, let's not forget, Annie is really strong right now. I think she's better in support, personally. But
yeah, I think so, agree as well.
Still very, very good in the mid lane with that point and click ability to just crowd control someone. As Pop the Horizon's potentially dead again.
He's like, I don't want to hit your wall. I just want to hit you. Burns the flash. God damn.
That is rough. Hey, this is our number 1 team, by the way. And we're seeing it in action.
Yeah. Rift Herald has been dropped bot. I'm not sure what I was expecting because we saw Tempest in that bush for what felt like 5 minutes. Looking to dive, but here comes Red. He's looking for a little bit more. Does get hit back. There's the Nocturne ulti. The darkness has been summoned. Tempest going in straight away, but he does have to use the horse to get out. Does have to get the flash out of Aurelial, but he does pick it up. Morgan picks it up too. Heal comes out as well. Red being pushed out of the lane, but that's good fight coming out of Jade Dragons.
Really nice. It's all about the Renata ult that comes through as the dive is attempted. Red goes in and gets hit straight in the face with the Renata gas and turns and starts hitting the Ezreal, giving him just enough damage to finish the kill on Aurelial. And Lord Worgen does pick up that kill on the Draven. So we talk about this Draven being a win con. It is starting to come online. If they can make more plays like that, then they can definitely look to establish themselves in this game.
Lots of damage coming off. Can he do it? Big petrifying gaze does the job on 2 members.
Boy. Yep. Easy Life is quite large.
He's being chilling because he's 4-1-0 and he's trying to take on Reasons at the same time.
He's even got Red coming in. I think they just win this.
I think he does. What can you do?
Yeah, it's so rough.
Can you just give it over? Oh my lord. But as I was about to say, we got almost a 1k gold lead on Draven now, picking up some big gold from that big fight.
Yeah, it hasn't translated into a whole lot of stats. The extra BF sword is going to be relevant when it comes to those single auto trades. But Ezreal does win the extended ones, I think, at this point. He's quite comfortable to take those trades, especially with the Karma in his back pocket. And it's also a question of how much can Worgen do, which, by the way, I don't know, Lord Worgen, I think we're going with that. I'm just going to call it out. I think I'm very clever for that one.
Okay.
LCK viewer right here. But like, it's a question of how much he can do, right? Because his mid lane is bleeding, his top lane is bleeding, the Nocturne is okay, and it really is all going to be on Morgan's shoulders to carry these fights and find favorable trades alongside Rek'Rai. And it has to come off the back of punishing some mistakes like they did in that previous play.
I think, look, you got to put a little bit more love into it. I think we need to see a little bit more out of probably Nocturne here. He's picked up the Stride Breaker. He probably needs to, but he's already looking bot. This Ezreal could be a meal to the darkness. But look at Part the Horizon. One auto attack does it. Oh, what are you?
He just animation cancelled on him. It was brutal. There was so much damage. But it is traded back. So the gold is going where it needs to. Big objective bounty claimed by the Draven. And decent gold lead, right? So what are we sitting on? About nearly just over a K.
Just over a K, just over 2, yeah. We're just getting from
we're finding the copium.
Oh, Reasons.
Oh, hello.
This is the power of Annie. Reasons absolutely almost blowing up Seeker. Ezreal is on the other side of this with Renata coming in. There's Nocturne, big ultimate comes in. Darkness takes it, but Ezreal caught in the line of fire, stunned up, slowed down, and absolutely obliterated.
No,
maybe
reset. It's fine. I thought he was under his tier 1, but no. Actually, a decent play down towards the bot side. Meanwhile, Yorick is not having a great time, but everyone else has the mobility, the ability to dive onto a target, and if there's no front line to protect them, and he just locks you down, Nocturne comes in over the top, and Renata does a lot of good stuff to lock you down as well, especially when she has her ultimate. So bot lane, actually not too bad. The Lord Worgen Lord Worgen situation is definitely happening. Also, thanks Mayhem. Yeah, you're right. That's a Zhonya's. Very cool.
On Jax.
Yep, we've seen it before actually.
We have.
Yeah.
What do you think about Jax, full AP Jax picking up a Nash's? I've seen that before.
I think it's awful and shouldn't happen. But we've seen the Zhonya's been competitive before because Jax actually has some decent AP ratios. He gets to bot people with his, I think it's his R that has the scaling.
Yeah.
But more importantly, this gives him a tool to actually survive when he goes in every single time. He jumps in, presses E, presses Zhonya's, and the rest of the team just does the work around him. So I totally respect it.
I like Cassia just chilling. Cassia already picking up a Rylez as well. Ooh. Now Jax being the top lane jungler that used, well, actually not so much jungler anymore. Used to be a lot of jungle Jaxes out there. Yeah. But he's looking very fierce. Oh, look at the depth. What is this? He does not care. Even with the maiden. Oh.
That is rough. Horizon is brand new to this team, by the way. Brand new to this org as well. Straight up out of the solo queue. And you can't fault him for having some struggles against Korean Wave, who's been playing competitive League of Legends for a while. By all accounts, and is one of probably the strongest top laner in this league. At this point, I would say. You could make an argument for Kelsey, but Korean Wave is definitely up there.
Yeah, no, definitely. As you can see, third dragon is about to go down. Red just hard prioritizing this, as it looks like it's going to be uncontested.
Just nothing you can do. You've got the Hecarim on one side, you've got zone control from the Cassiopeia. If you walk up, you're getting CC locked to death. The Karma is going to shield any attempt at diving through you make, so you're just looking for single picks at this point if you are on the Jade Dragons. I think that it just has to be the reality you're living in.
And here it is, because we've seen this before, we'll see it again, but no, there was another team member ready to come in. This is a 3v2, and look, Tempest just gets blown up. Beautiful play by Red, predicting that call, honestly.
Yeah, just if you're always shadowing your teammates, they can't make those dives, and Nocturne just doesn't quite have the survivability to deal with this situation, so he just goes down easily. Oof, podcast time?
Podcast, yeah. Where do we go from here?
I think it's a podcast game. It might be.
Look, do I need to take a seat? Should I just?
Yeah, I think
sit back, relax.
We might be in for it, but it's definitely looking like a bit of another bit of a stomp. I will call out, by the way, really cool build by the Hecarim. Not something I've actually seen before, even though it makes a whole lot of sense. Spear of Shojin.
Yeah.
Really neat. Just straight up first. More devastating charges, more Qs, very cool.
Yeah, why do you think that's going to work? I know you just said devastating charges, more Qs, why is that good though? Why would someone take this into a game?
Yeah, you're right. We have time to talk about it. So Spirit Shojin reduces your basic ability cooldowns, that's your Q, your W, and your E for those following at home, by a percentage of your AD. Spear of Shojin gives you AD, which is very good. And Hecarim is just a champion who really is there for his abilities. Like the Q is the bulk of his damage, spinning the hoppercopter above his head. And then things like the W give him his survivability, where he drains the life from people around him. And then the E just gives you that crowd control and gets you in position. So I actually really like this build. It's really cool.
Picking up the Warhammer now as well. Looking to probably build potentially. Do you think it's going to be a mana immune, or do you think he's going to go something maybe potentially like an Eclipse or something like that for a little bit of burst damage too?
He probably could, but he's got the tier in his inventory nearly stacked up. So unless he pivots hard to a Fimbulwinter, which I would actually also think would be a good Hecarim item. Words are hard, and I got that one out eventually, but I could see that working. I could see Shojin and Fimbulwinter, even if it lacks the AD.
Yeah.
But I think you go Mana Immune every day of the week,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Killing people.
Aggressive. Oh, but here's a big engaged Tempest, burning the flash out of it. Near side, it gets chained up though, but Tempest, he's been caught out. He's used everything in his kit. Tempest just drops Seek. He's going to take out the board too. This could turn the fight. Garage goes down. They're looking so aggressive, but they can't do any more. Red's trying to keep it up, but Rek'Rai is also caught out too, but no Korean Weeb joined the fight. When that man fights, he wants to go hard. And it looks like he's going to pick up a kill there too. Double kill to Hecarim and Jax.
Yeah, Irradial survives the back end of the play, and it was a really nice attempt at a trigger pull on Easy Life, and he's just so tanky with his Rod of Ages built up, and Irradial just sits there largely untouched until the end of the fight, just raining down damage. Korean Weave and Red got by so much space, and they're able to just grind the fight out over time, and now they're just going to turn straight onto the Baron and look to knock down even more of this map for the Jade Dragons.
Oh, look, big Baron at 21 minutes. It's not what you want to see, but it's what you would expect from the number one team in this league. As Part is just chilling down the bot side, probably trying to get some residual gold off the shutdowns.
It's a tier 2. This is actually not irrelevant, because tier 2s give you just a lot of gold, and that's even going to be an objective bounty. So 480 gold split across the team, plus the tier 2 gold, which is like 600 these days. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. Like, this Yorick is definitely doing his job. We questioned the pick in terms of how it fits in team comp, but Path of the Horizon is always going to have the ability to sit in the side lane and generate pressure. It's never going to be a question.
But look, at the same time, I'm looking at this last dragon too. We've got the Hex Soul coming up, and it is about to spawn in less than a minute. Tempest decides to go in onto Seeker, could be caught out, but Red's also here, able to block it out for him, trying to get a bit more healing too. Reese, just missed the Tibbers.
And they even have the Shirelias, so they're just never under threat.
I love this. We talked about how Path of Horizon was doing a really good job split pushing, and then Jax is like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I can do it better."
Korean Weave, we know, is a player who was a bit mad that he got snubbed for MVP in previous streams. So I think he's really just making a name for himself. He's really making a play for that double MVP.
Oh, look, I think he might be up for it. Honestly,
he's certainly there. Just mauled his lane opponent.
Oh, look, at the same time, I think Ease Life probably deserves a little bit of love there too. This Cascadia has been putting in some work too, some really aggressive plays, right place, right time. Got to give it to the Snake Lady, as it's just two people, a lot of people coming down for this dragon fight. Could be the steal, but this could be the end of the game if it's done right. Hecarim goes in, look at the damage, there's so much, all they can do is die. Triple kill to this Hecarim, who just blew them up. What is going on?
It's just too late. The Ronaldo isn't able to interact with the fight, isn't able to get the W down. They're all grouped up, and they just walk straight into the Petrifying Gaze and just get knocked down from the damage. It's not a team that should be winning fast fights, but they just blow them up at the start of the fight, and there's just no response and no ability to set up the battle line for the enemy team.
What can you do at this point? We talked about the end of the game being before. We're in a podcast match right now, but big kudos to these stargazers, star chasers,
Starwalkers.
Starwalkers. Are they?
It's Starcasters. I'm messing with you.
It's too much Starwalker, man.
Too many stars. You've already got Papa Pike here. He's the biggest star.
Oh no, we got you, mate. That's why you're here.
Korean Wave is also just off to the side. I think he took it personally when he said that Part of the Horizon was able to split push because he wants to prove that he can do it better, and he by and large is. He doesn't have the Spear of Shojin as well, which is actually just a really good Jax item.
Well, Jax also Wit's End. What are your thoughts on that?
He just wants to split push. That's all he wants to do. He wants to keep killing part of the horizon and keep hitting towers.
Yeah.
Just end this game as soon as possible. It's kind of like back in the day, when you were just like straight up winning a game and you would just buy static ship regardless of who you were because like you hit towers and it was kind of a good single item damage boost.
Yeah.
I think it's the same idea. This Wits End just lets him end the game faster so he can go have dinner.
Yeah, look, we're all a little bit hungry right now, aren't we? It's a best of 3 series, and it's looking like it's going to be a best of 2. No, how do they just end this one out? The Baron's ended. Wait, does he actually cancel? No way.
Like he does. He just kills him. No, okay.
Got the flash out of him though.
Got the flash. Next time he does that, he dies because no flash expended by Korean Weave, and we'll, I believe, have it up in just a second. So next duel definitely goes his way, and at this point, it's just tower hitting simulator. It doesn't matter that you don't have Baron. There's no way they can possibly step up to you and find a kill on any target. Yeah. You're looking for a miracle Renata roll, and that's not going to be it.
Well, look, it doesn't actually hit anyone, but here comes Tempest. He's coming into this fight, wants to do something. The fear is going to be on Ease Life, but Reasons picks up a good kill, but Red is so big. This man can run at you. The Horseman himself, there's a flash forward. Cassiopeia is looking for the Penta, but there's the triple kill. Not a Quadra as far as I'm aware, and a Radial just picking up, and they're going to end this one out. 4 members down. Yorik's holding the fort.
Once again, Seeker is the only person who goes down in that fight. And he is the karma. He gets off enough shields, gets off enough movement for his team to survive. They just turn and burn. And it's an easy win. 2-0 once again for the Starcasters.
Oh, look, and they're just feeling real hot right now. This team is just absolutely on fire. They're playing to their con. They're doing what they do best, and that's playing League of Legends. And I can't believe it's an easy dub. Oh, they get a dab from me for that dub. So absolutely worth it. What an awesome best of 3. That was a best of 2. I guess let's break it down a little bit, as we're probably going to wait to hear who's going to be MVP. Let's get an MVP vote in the chat. We'll make it maybe a minute or 2 so we can see if we can get them in for a little interview. But let's break that down. Who do you think got MVP for that one?
I mean, it's really a toss-up between Easy Life and Korean Weeb. I think Korean Weeb maybe edges it out for me, just the way that he not only played the side lanes and just dominated the matchup, but also was able to actually be in position to help his team. It wasn't like he was just sitting in a side lane doing split push things and just like owning part of the horizon. He teleported at key moments. He was rotating at key moments. So while Easy Life did play a very good game, I think showing the ability to just understand where he needed to be at any given time, where Easy Life was kind of given the right macro decisions, I think Korean Weeb definitely impressed me in this series.
Korean Weeb really stepping up. I think it's like you sort of said, this man has just been like sitting, we've sort of talked about like, he can do a little bit better. He can do a little bit better. Just missing shy of being MVP each time. So I think he's literally said to us, hey guys, I'm going to show you what I can do. Yeah. So it's nice to see him really stepping up. I'm going to give him my MVP for the game. I really want to give it to Ease Life for that Cassiopeia because I love Cassiopeia. But look, I'm still keen for that. Like, I think this man has really stepped up and shown us what he's available to do, because we did see him on a tank. We saw him on a bruiser. He is so versatile in this lane, and it's quite interesting to see. But who else can we talk about in this game? I want to give some love to Jade Dragons as well.
Yeah, I also want to just quickly say, in terms of versatility, like, remember, this is Seeker who only played Blitzcrank in the first week. So 2 games of Karma back-to-back. Was it 2 games of Karma? I think it was, right?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, so it was Karma, and then it was Ezreal Karma in this game, and then I can't remember what the first game was because it's been a long day, and my memory is terrible. But we're seeing the versatility from this player as well. We're seeing that even though the guy was basically Blitzcrank and Pyke in the first week, has shown us more and has shown that he is able to be a complete support. And I think that the entire team is benefiting from that. Red looks fantastic. Easy Life was just a monster in terms of teamfight damage and contribution on both the Cassiopeia and the Corki. And Redial, like he was incredible in those late game teamfights in the first game. And also not bad in these ones either. Like, knew his job, was just able to stay out of dodge and just do Ezreal things from afar. So this entire team is clicking, and it's looking formidable. So you can't really fault the side of Jade Dragons for going down to this, because they're just a great team.
Yeah, I want to give Jade Dragons like a big props there too. Like
Please do.
they still held their own. Like even in the first game, they were really putting some pressure on. There were points where it was looking really sharp. So I want to give them a big props. I think you got to
And
give.
it's a new roster, right?
It's a new roster. Morgan's the
Basically,
only
yeah.
OG. So Morgan coming in trying to keep them alive, keep them going. Tempest as well. I think was doing some really good things as this jungler, but also Reasons, honestly, was having some big impacts in this game. Even that latest game with Annie had the most damage in the game. So really big shout out to these players. As, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have just found
We
out
did it.
our MVP was Korean. Korean Weave, we got to get him in for an interview as soon as possible, as soon as he's available. So we're going to get that active. And I think we just got him. Korean Weave, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad, mate. You're insulting me. You played exceptional tonight.
Yeah, it was alright. It's another day at the office, mate.
Oh, the modesty out of this guy. Come on, mate. You can talk better than that. Give yourself some love, mate. Like, literally MVP twice. How does it feel to be... What feels like the backbone for your team?
No, I'm just weak side. I'm not the backbone.
Weak side.
Weak
That's
side.
fair. I mean, you play a pretty good weak side, man. So, like, I kind of want to ask. So, you're a name that your name is one that we've seen before.
Yes.
You've played in some of the like higher tier tournaments, and now you're in MCOM. So, like, tell us about your journey through like competitive. Where did you start, and like how did you sort of get to MCOM?
I used to play like Iron Plat for ages, and it was me and Casual were like the top two.
Yes.
In my opinion, but now he's just too good now, so he's gone up, and I've stayed down in the depths.
Good caster too. I mean, no doubt you'll start to rise again, but pretty good performance on both the Ornn and the Jax, of course. So showing a bit of diversity. Do you feel like you consider yourself more of a carry player? Or is the Ornn something you're like working on, cooking up in the kitchen?
Freaking ages ago, I used to like one trick Ornn or play him a lot.
Nice.
But I like playing carries, but tanks are just easier. They're easier, but also harder because they get countered pretty easy.
Now, are there any other potential picks that would potentially suit for you? Like, if you're looking at other champs, like, is there anything we might expect to see in the near future from you? Because obviously you're playing so well on so many different types of play styles. Is there anything we might expect to see?
I want to play Jace, but I'm pretty coin flippy on Jace, so
okay.
I have to clean it up first.
Do it.
Nice.
Do it. Play Jace. We want to see it. That would be absolutely exceptional. But obviously, given your team and all that sort of stuff. Now, how did you find? I want to talk about this Ornn game. Like, you obviously really didn't want Darius to play this game. How did you find it yourself? Like, how did you know you were going into it to have a bunch of fun and getting that nice synergy with your team and saying, hey, I'm going to land a good ulti, let's go for it. But let's talk about laning phase into the late game.
Yeah, the lane phase, I knew I was going to win because he didn't skill the Q. He skilled the W then E, so like I just win every trade at the start. And then all I have to do is get him below half health and then I can one-shot him.
Ornn does way too much damage. I actually want to sort of zoom out a bit, man. I want to ask about the like basically this team, because this team feels like it's clicking on every level, and you guys are kind of just stomping at the moment. So what do you think makes you guys so strong, and who's the sort of primary shot call of the team? Like, what are the comms like?
I think it works well because everyone gets along. Like, that's like the main thing, and everyone's like happy to just play what makes us win. Because, like, for example, when we picked Sejuani first game, I was like, oh, I can play that top if we have to. And then same with this game, I even said, like, I can play Karma if we really, really have to. Like, I'm not fussed. And everyone's, like, not really worried what they're playing as long as we win.
Yeah, no, I love that because I think that's such a big thing for teams, right? It's like if you don't have that right synergy, if you're not on the same sort of wavelength, you're not going to sort of fare well. And I think we have seen teams already sort of maybe break apart and sort of lose a lot of that sort of synergy because of not good communication. So it's really nice to hear that a team, especially in Oceania, is really coming together and working hard. So I think I'm really proud of you for that instance because we've known each other for quite a while. So
Yes, sir.
I think one thing we're going to talk about, how do you think you're going to fare against the Knights? It'll probably be the last question for this interview, man. Who are also the top tier team. So Knights 2-0. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling into that sort of team matchup?
Ooh, it'll be close. It'll be close. It'll be
Is it
close.
close?
But I don't know. I think we just have to learn. Kelsey will have to try and figure out how to beat a tank.
Yeah. I love it.
Tax
Well,
isn't
thank
the
you.
answer, my friend.
No. Well, thank you so much for joining us, man. Absolute joy to have you on with this interview. Well played again for that. You absolutely crushed it tonight, so I can't wait to see a little bit more. But thank you again.
Too
I
easy.
want you to say, any shouts you want to make, man?
Oh, not really.
No, you're good.
No.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
I've already
good.
called out Kelsey. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man.
That's right,
Much
man.
appreciated. Well, guys, thank you all so much for joining us for this nice little session tonight. Beautiful 2-0 going over to our Starcasters. Weapon, anything you'd like to call out, shout out before we wrap up this stream?
I mean, it was just a good, clean 2-0 by Starcasters. You can't ask for anything more. Short night for us. Pretty damn good. And now we get to go have dinner, enjoy the rest of our weekends, and then go back to work, which is, that sucks.
I don't consider that work. This is work right now.
This is work right now.
Work. Yeah, nah. Everything outside of this is no deal. Well, guys, thank you on behalf of MCOM, Weapon, myself, and Mayhem. We'd like to thank you all for joining us for this beautiful game tonight. We'll be back later on in the week. I believe it is Weapon and Formal on Wednesday night, looking to come home with a big play, so definitely tune in then. But from all of us here at MCOM, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Good night.